Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales, featuring Michael St. John, Pat Trammell, and special guests.
We got a lot of stuff to do and just an hour to do the highlights, an hour to do some good stuff. Hello, everybody. Randy Hales talking Memphis Wrestling. Real quick before we get to Wolfie D, want to bring in Pat Trammell. He's missed 2 weeks. He's with us today. Michael St. John will join us in the second hour. Pat with the new computer. Hopefully, great service. What's going on, Pat?
Great video, great sound, ready to hear our friend Wolfie.
And you are dressed up, looking good, looking nice, and we're ready to roll. Now, I'm excited about the fact yesterday, the podcast, live and in color with Wolfie D, was released with special guest star ORH himself, Randy Hales. We did it. It came out yesterday. Very pleased. Appreciate the opportunity. And we have Wolfie D, and we'll start with that right there as Wolfie D in the house making his second appearance in the row on Talking Memphis Wrestling. There is
2 times.
2 times. You've actually been on 3 times in the history of the world.
Yeah. Right.
What feedback did you get from the podcast?
Well, I haven't talked to Jimmy. Jimmy's on that gets all those emails and stuff like that. And by the way, I feel left out.
Is that a working headset?
It's my workout headset.
Okay.
But you don't know. I don't know numbers and emails or anything like that just yet.
I got good feedback from it. I really did. It was good. It's just something me and you probably maybe since almost 30 years, 27 years ago that we were together every day at wrestling shows, seen each other maybe 5 times, 10 times over the last 25 years. But the connection you get from somebody you traveled the road with 2,000 miles a week, every week, week after week after week. I thought the chemistry we had to analyze our performance on my show and on your show, I mean, we still have it. It's just natural.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're in it, right? It's not that hard.
Not that hard at all.
It comes natural.
Hey, speaking of something that's all good in the world, all is right in the world, I am so excited. If I wouldn't have a family big-time engagement coming up this weekend that I would get killed if I didn't go to. I mean, I absolutely have to go, but I would love to be, just like old time's sake. I would like to be in Nashville, Tennessee on a Sunday. It's a part of the SummerSlam weekend. It's part of StarCast. It's a big weekend. As you see, we have right there, it's Ric Flair's final match. His last match, Ric Flair and Andrade against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, a huge card. But the Bunkhouse Battle Royal representing the USWA, I want to put that graphic up there. My man himself, even though whoever put this graphic together did not put the USWA logo up there. I don't know where the hell they got the logo, but Wolfie looks badass. He's making his return to Nashville this time. It starts, I believe, at 6 o'clock. It might be, I think it's 6 o'clock. I've ordered it on Fight TV, and Wolfie D is coming home representing the USWA at StarCast and representing the USWA in the Bunkhouse Stampede Battle Royal. How the hell did you get that booking, man?
Can't tell you how humbled, honored, privileged I be a part of this show and to be asked to be on it, Randy. I know you know Jeff's heavily involved with it too. I mean, so my boy Brian Armstrong, man, he's always took care of old Wolfie D. I'm honored not only because it's Ric Flair's gimmick, or to say that I am the person that is representing the U.S. representing Memphis Wrestling on this event is really cool. Sorry, it's really, really cool to me, Randy.
Hey, you can guess on my show.
Oh.
You did the appearance last Wednesday on the radio, and you got me in trouble. They pulled me for my regular. I've done this thing 116 Wednesdays in a row, and they say they don't need me tomorrow.
You are lying. Stop it. You are lying.
No, he's not doing the show tomorrow. It's not because Wolfie said shit. Big fucking deal, right? Big fucking deal. Anyway, still, by the way, the face that runs that place is a friend of mine and a friend of yours, Brandon Baxter, and he thought it was funny. So
I bet he did pop for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm just, dude, this is, man, and not to try to steal the thunder or anything like that, but this is probably going to be my last match too, because I found out last week so this is probably it for me, and for it to end in Nashville in Flair's last match pay-per-view, which is a huge deal, man. Oh, thank you. You know, that's it. I'm just, I can't explain it. I don't have the words.
You know, I'm going to bring us down a little bit, but I just can't. I got to say what I feel. I think that's great. Now, I mentioned last week on the show when we talked about your Unified World Title Challenge in Nashville at the Fairgrounds with Jeff Jarrett, how much that meant to you, how that much meant to me, the fans of Nashville, but especially Mama D, your mother, who we lost several years ago. Bless her heart, rest in peace. But the first thing that went in my head when you sent me a week ago that information that you're going to be on this card, I thought, oh my God, I wish Whoopi's mom would have been there. So I don't want to be bringing you in, but you'll be thinking about her. You'll be thinking about me. You'll be thinking about representing the USWA. You'll be thinking about your friends that will be in the house that night. It's a big freaking deal because, by God, it's still real to us. Damn it.
Man, I'm going to represent the best I can, man. Maybe it sounds foolish or markish or whatever, but I just really feel honored to be representing US. And all the things that about it, as I just said, like I said, I don't have the words, man. It's just WA. It's Ric Flair. I'm honored. And I'll tell you this, Randy, this hasn't yet, but this is very cool because I've been asked to do something I've not really ever been on this big of a stage. I'm going to be co-producing, and I'm going to be producing the four-way, four corners match, the indie or something like that.
Don't steal any of my fucking finishes, man. That'll make me hot.
I promise you, if I can get them to do it, you're going to see a mark on that match, and you'll go, oh, that was.
That is cool. We'll come back now. I want to be upfront with everybody, and I'm ignoring everybody's commenting, and hopefully Adam can put it on the screen. But we're limited because Wolfie has a big match coming up. He has to work out. I hope he doesn't hurt himself working out. He needs to be ready for the match. Say the booker in me, I'm trying to protect the talent right now. I don't want him to do too much. Would you?
I found out about this about 6 weeks ago, 5 to 6 weeks, and for 2 weeks it was a maybe, and then after that it became. But ever since I was told about it, since Road Dogg called me twice a day. I mean, people don't know. I got neck problems. I got back problems. I need hip surgery. I'm not in. I'm on the outside. I think I look all right, but on the inside, I'm really. But yeah, I've been training like crazy for this, man. Just They're looking bad, man.
All right, we will wrap it up at the end of the hour and once again do the hard sale for StarCast coming up to Nashville. The action is Sunday night, 6 o'clock at the Municipal Auditorium, downtown Nashville. Excited about it, proud for Wolfie, and the USWA will be representative. And I couldn't name a better representative than that guy right there, Wolfie D. We want to get into as much of the story of the USWA Smoky Mountain program that we can, and we're going to go right to video. And this first video we're going to show, I want to explain to everybody that we started doing, and I think this is a big part of Louisville coming up. We always just taped our matches on Monday nights in Memphis and not show it in Louisville and Evansville and Nashville and the other markets. But I started sending a camera crew to Louisville, so we would, in the live Memphis show, we would show the Memphis footage, and then we would end up inserting the Louisville footage in. Dean Hill, a policeman in Louisville, later on co-host with Jim Cornette on Ohio Valley Wrestling, Louisville policeman, and a nice guy. His wife was the box office manager there in Louisville. He sets this up, and we will see this action from Louisville, Kentucky. Dean Hill announcing, and this was good stuff that we were doing. And I want everybody to listen closely to the reaction from the audience. Roll it, Adam.
Weeks back here at Louisville Gardens. This has gotten bigger and bigger as the weeks have gone on. It's even come up to the point where Randy Hales was supposed to become a special referee last Tuesday night. Let's take a look at some of the footage of what's been going on between PG-13 and the Rock and Roll Express. Way he could have done it on his own. Referee Mark Curtis threatening to end the match and declare Rock and Roll Express the winner. Referee Joe Wheeler, thank goodness, isn't going to allow that to happen. And they're bumping bellies in the ring, confronting each other. Oh, Rock and Roll Express, that's it. Hold him back. Hold him back. My goodness. Oh, and Ricky Morton advising that he's lucky that Joe Wheeler is lucky that Ricky Morton held back Mark Curtis. Mark obviously threatening to do the same thing to Joe Wheeler that he just did to Randy Hales. Those of y'all that may have missed it earlier, Randy Hales was attacked earlier this evening by referee Mark Curtis and then by the Rock and Roll Express. Took some damage to the rib or shoulder area, I'm not sure which. But Randy was taken out of the ring by PG-13 that came into the ring to save him. Hopefully Randy's going to be all right, but right now it's unknown to us at ringside.
So the match was booked. Two referees, Mark Curtis representing Smoky Mountain and me, Randy Hales, representing the USWA. They jumped me earlier in the night, and I was not able to go out and referee this match. So Joe Wheeler, the Louisville guy, was substituting for me as a referee, and wait and see what happens next. We'll be kind of comment to the storytelling we were doing. This is week-to-week thing, and the key to this is the people believe. Absolutely, as Jamie just took the worst over-the-top bump I had ever seen in my life.
This is getting ridiculous. Over the top.
That's how he always took it.
Bill was bad at it.
But yeah, that was the cool part of this, was making mean something instead of just having a baby face and a heel referee that really don't do anything, and we had him involved the whole time, made it make sense.
Again, Robert Gibson throwing the Iceman into the ring. Back
I
into
thought
Ricky
Martin Curtis, and I heard the story last week, Robert Gibson wanted me to use him underneath, and I said, no, it just came to my mind that we could use him and draw money with him, and part of the deal, and it just worked out fantastic. Mark Curtis, by the way, Brian Hildebrand was his name. He was born on January the 21st, 1962. He passed away September the 8th, 1999 from cancer at only 37 years old. And he helped draw money on this thing, don't you think?
He had what? on this thing?
I said he helped during this whole story.
Oh, yeah.
He was a big part of it.
I like him a lot. Yeah.
Ricky Morton, of course, doing the patented rock and roll strut.
You know, Memphis has always needed his funny heel manager. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little weasel that we would want to see him get good.
There's a false tag. Vince McMahon hates them, but done right, it's great.
Yeah.
Rock and roll, just a great team, period. And there's the story with the referee. And they played it well. Now Joe's getting on his ass. Was who involved a lot with the story? We didn't call it story. No, that was me mainly, but the talent like Wolfie and you know, anybody could contribute ideas for sure, and they did. Wolfie probably more than anybody because he was the one traveling with me in the car.
Yeah. I had a little.
Now that was a bulldog, and poor old Dean Hill called that a flying mare. What in the hell?
Did he?
Yeah.
He is not worse than Corey, though. Rest in peace.
I love Corey. Corey, when he started out, not so much. By Power Pro, I thought Corey was great.
He don't.
There we go. Watch this comeback, people. This is a comeback done right. The rock and roll both leading. Ricky taking better bumps than Robert. Robert went down to a knee. Jamie goes outside with it. Up. This is a great finish as shoots you off right into the referee. That leaves only Mark Curtis. Watch this finish. Ricky went for a chain. Wolfie with the atomic drop. Ricky dropped the chain. Wolfie has the chain, whopping with it. Watch Mark Curtis. I don't know if you remember the finish or not, Wolfie. Boom.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 1, 2, 3. The Rock and Roll retain USWA and World Tag Team Championship.
That son of a bitch hit me with my own hub.
I bet if that was my finish, you argued about that. I bet you and Jamie both said, no, we can't get beat with our own finish. I bet you did. Yeah. So I can pretty much tell you that was not my finish, not yours. Now look at this. So you bring Mark in. Look at this. This is the worst backdrop in the history of the world. Here comes Rock and Roll. Cut you off. Joe Wheeler. I love Joe. He's whammed. He's nailed.
What did just do to him?
I'm not sure.
Looked like it smacked him on.
Loading the boot.
Loaded boot.
Now, I stole your gimmick.
Oh, is this where you get the major color?
No, that's the next video. We're a little out of whack here, I think.
Again, Rock and Roll Express takes both of the belts with the help of NWA referee Mark Curtis. Again, Randy Hales.
The people are hot.
Mark Curtis come back to ringside.
Yeah.
PG-13's got something to say to him as well. I want to ask you something. Everybody here knows that PG-13
PG, I know I have one of them with me. They were over in the whole territory. But man, here in Louisville was special.
Yeah.
Now, we're setting up the blood angle, the beating, the next week. You asked me to be in your corner. Let's come out of that hour.
You've got it now.
There you
You
go.
want
Just
war? We'll take you to war. What is that from? That line, something. You want a war? We'll take you to war. What is that? I don't know.
I don't really know.
It's a line
I'm a lot more. I thought I came up with it my brilliant self. Are you saying I stole it from somebody?
Thanks. So.
So, what do you remember about that, real quick, and then we will go into the next video as soon as I find
crazy
it.
Because we've had so many matches. I mean, seeing it, yeah, I kind of recall it, but I really don't recall it. I didn't know what was going to happen while he's watching it. But yeah, Mark Curtis, like I said, Memphis, that a little scrawny guy they could yell at. They've always had one. Back to Jimmy Hart and all that. Downtown Bruno, shit, Cornette. I mean, you have to Andy Kaufman, dudes that came through there. So they're used to that. And yeah,
let me
we
ask
definitely
you,
needed more.
Let me ask you this, because we had the big match that we showed last week. Get it going. What do you think? Really, you think the first match is what put us over the top? I really think what put us over the top was what we're fixing to show, which is me in the corner. And then I left myself off of TV for 3 weeks. And we did so – that just wasn't basically something we did. The promoter, somebody that since I was a kid, people knew me. And for people really believe – remember Sarah Lee was – actually started crying and threw up because I was bleeding so bad.
Yeah.
A lady wrestler.
I think, are me and Jamie bleeding too?
Yeah.
Okay. If come out, right?
Do what?
The paramedics come out, don't they?
Yeah.
And that was a shoot. They came and tended to all three, sold the fuck out of it, and did not smarten them up. Not back to the back.
No.
We milked it we was hurt.
And if you remember, and well, I'll tell this story as soon as we play the tape. Let's watch this. This is Blood and Guts Wrestling. This is drawing freaking money, people. This is what it's all about. This is PG-13 Rock and Roll Express, and Heat sells tickets. Here we go.
And it turned into a series of matches with Rock and Roll Express from Smoky
this
Mountain,
is the
NWA World
version,
Tag Champs, and
as bloody
PG-13
as the Memphis
because
version.
PG-13, you were here to
Randy
see
West,
from the
hope you're in
very
the house.
beginning.
Yeah.
Both of us were here to see Rock and Roll Express, and Ricky
PG
Morton
did
and Robert
work
Gibson. We
on
were
a few, and I did too.
when they were just kids running around. They're both second-generation wrestling families.
I'm probably ignoring
And
people. I apologize for
molded
that.
into one
We'll
of the
try to
finest
catch up
tag
later.
teams ever. Absolutely work as a team
This
like
is Lance and
nobody
Dave
I've ever
at
seen
their
before,
best.
and that's the reason they've been able to hold the world title. Something happened on the way to the bank, as they say.
Listen to Lance.
Rock and Roll Express, and we've got a theory which we'll save and tell you a little bit later about what happened on it with PG-13 and everybody else. But right now, what we want you to do is go back with us. Randy Hales, I don't think it's any secret. Randy has been like a son to me. I've known him since he's 10 years old. He's a guy that's always wanted to be in wrestling, and I have a very special place for anybody who works that hard. He was in the corner of PG-13. Here's a young team, brash, no question about it. Folks love them because they can go out and tell you what they're going to do, and they get the job done. Against Rock and Roll Express with Mark Curtis, who bears the handle of the senior referee for Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and that's something that's a misnomer, to say the least. You take a look and tell me. Watch.
We're going to run them together. Looks like the switch. And the summer. JCS on a sunset flip. Winners and USWA Tag Team Champions, PG
Yeah.
spur to Randy Hales.
Here we go, folks.
Mark Curtis took the opportunity.
No, this is the USWA show, absolutely.
Joe Wheeler, Iceman just regained his composure. Out of control, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand this, but this is getting totally out of control. They are ripping Randy Hales' clothes off of him. They are attacking him. They got the blood is flowing from Randy Hales.
Pat Trammell, what do you think of this chaos?
I don't understand why Rock and Roll Express has had all kinds of awards through their wrestling career. I don't know why they feel like they have to go to this point.
See the blood.
But they are just tearing up Randy Hales in the middle of the ring.
Always
Unbelievable.
like
Ricky
this
Morton
back
showing
to
no mercy, has the spur
beating
off the cowboy booth
and the lights
and
come
is
to take place.
attacking Randy
That's
Hales.
drama
Yes.
to me.
Mark Curtis,
You can
this
see
is-
all the
someone
fans
has got to get Randy out of
getting
the
up.
ring area. I want to try to get Randy
We're not
out of
in
the
the dark. You know, you're standing up and doing whatever you're doing now.
Michael, good to have you here for the first time. We're here every Monday for Power Pro and Tuesday for Talking Memphis Wrestling. We went heat. Here comes a save, or the attempt of the save.
Onslaught. I mean, the blood is flowing. This is unbelievable. Ricky Morton puts the boot over the
It was like a car wreck.
Joe Wheeler back into the ring area.
Do what, Wolf?
Everyone with this PG-13
What was his name?
hubcap.
Scott?
Scott Stud is what we called him.
He has had his shirt tore off of him. He's bleeding
No,
through.
Tanner, I don't have any of the Smoky Mountain.
Mark Curtis again puts Randy in the headlock and is doing more damage, choking him. Meanwhile,
So,
Steve
this is a
Jarrett
save done right, and we're sending in talent, getting rid of talent, Brickhouse, Scott Stud,
Rock and Roll Express. This is unbelievable. The
people
fans
that
are
we have pushed.
Just
We're not just throwing,
anybody.
some of them are actually pushing
yeah,
towards
just
the ring
anybody.
area. The police are,
And the heat
keeping an eye on
continues.
everyone, trying to make sure that we keep them behind the
Yeah, I
barricades.
said it was like a car wreck, and they used a hubcap. They used your own gimmick then.
Yeah.
Listen to the people asking for help. Look at that blood.
Who they
And-
lost for Jeff? I can't understand.
Do what?
What were they supposed to say?
I'm not sure.
Ricky Morton keeping me at bay as well, trying to get Randy
This
out of the
aired
ring
on
area.
Fox 41 in Louisville. This is how you draw money, people.
Robert Gibson.
Because we milked this stuff, and Waller was going to be part of the final save, but he judged it. He was directing traffic in the back, because obviously I couldn't.
Handsome Jimmy are making their way towards the ring.
Waller and Valiant.
My goodness, Rock and Roll Express takes the way out.
Waller grabs a hubcap.
Again, the Rock and Roll Express.
Waller and I have history. He came right to me.
To the crowd.
Jamie over. Here comes, as
Now
they
these
shoot.
people here, these EMTs are, I'm telling you, these people are doing their job, they are tending to us. They are trying to help us. They,
The first aid
we're not hurt.
personnel that are in there tending to Randy. Randy looked like Dave.
Sarah
He
thought we were
absolutely
hurt.
had been in a horrible car wreck. He was just.
Listen to
when
Lance.
you saw the amount of excessive beating the Rock and Roll Express and Mark Curtis in particular. And one of the things that's
There you go. One story that I want to say is that at the end of the night, about 20 minutes later, the police came downstairs. I was still messed. I hadn't taken a shower yet. I had blood all over me. So the cops down and said, "We have problems." And I said, "What's the problem?" They said, "There's no way in hell the Rock and Roll can leave this building. They'll get killed." The whole alley was packed with fans. They believed it so much. So we had to sneak the Rock and Roll out in trunks of police cars from the front door. Then somebody got the keys and drove their cars to the police station. That's how you draw money, Wolfie. Do you remember how chaotic it was when they came down and told us they were ready to kill the rock and roll?
Yeah, like I said, man, because we sold, man. So if you convince the EMT, you know, and the people are asking questions, and you know, they're finding out EMTs really did go. They weren't supposed to. They didn't know they were going out there. Blah blah blah. You know, sense of realism to it because we sold the shit out of it.
I want to give credit. The credit was the Rock and Roll and Mark Curtis and PG-13. Secondarily, I think it was unique that I was involved because we were able to sell the fact that these rotten son of a guns were trying to steal our livelihood and our company. I was that representative of the company. And to get that was the key to the money because they see a lot. They've seen blood and they've seen feuds and that sort of thing. But our livelihood was at stake, and no better person in the world to explain it was than Lance Russell. And here's Lance.
Yeah.
Me to death was when I went back to the first aid room and I was talking to the ambulance people who were there, and they had told me Randy's blood pressure was like 140 over something in there, and boom, just that quick, it dropped 30 points down to 110.
That's true.
And it was one of those things that I'd seen a lot of matches, seen a lot of guys get beat up, and you have too, Dave, by the bunches of them. But when it's somebody who is personally involved with it, it's a little bit different. And the circumstances.
And Randy's not a wrestler, for heaven's sake. I mean,
and Curtis, we mentioned it during the commentary of the match. He pulled, I'm telling you, he did. We saw him. He pulled off that spur off of the boots that he was wearing. That's what Ricky Morton had, and that's what he got to it. I was saying I had a theory about it. I think what it was, Rock and Roll Express, they started right here. The kids came into fruition as one of the great tag teams that we have ever seen. I mean, really, they still work as a tag team like nobody else around, hardly. But what happened? Time passed. They lost it here. They lost it there. They got the titles back and so forth. Not to say they can't go. But all of a sudden, they go against PG-13. I really look forward to that match. Got in there, had a heck of a match. But Rock and Roll with rabbit ears, they heard the way the crowd reacted to them. They heard them come in there and say, whoa, what happened to you folks? We were your favorites, and now you're rooting for PG-13. And I think they kind of got a little worried, not only from an ego standpoint that was happening, but from a challenge standpoint that maybe this scrawny little team that they talk about had more going for them than they thought. Well, I can tell you one thing. They have a lot to worry about. Rock and Roll Express, I absolutely cannot believe what they have turned into. And Mark Curtis, you're no head referee. You are a thug. And I say that without any hesitation at all. Listen, you want to hear, you want to know why? Take a listen to this interview coming up with Rock and Roll Express, and that will tell you what they are like. Take a listen to it.
I can't believe it. Randy Hales, what did I tell you? I told you, Randolph, if you stuck your nose
Tanner,
into our
no,
business,
Louisville since 1971 was a Memphis territory. It
but
was never
Smoky
a
Mountain
Louisville
Wrestling, the NWA, if you stuck your nose in our business, that you were going to get hurt. Only in my wildest dreams did I ever believe how bad we were going to hurt you. Everybody in the Mid-South Coliseum, young fans, old fans, even that old decrepit old fossil Lance Russell had a tear running down his eye, just like that old Indian in those commercials. Does anybody ever cry whenever their promoter gets beat up? Like Don King? Nobody cares about Don King, but apparently in Memphis, everybody cares about you. We did it. Smoky Mountain Wrestling. It doesn't matter who it is. All the stars were upset because their promoter got hurt. Brian Lee, from the top to the bottom, the good and the bad, they were horrified at what we did. And we did it to the best of our ability. We did it because we're the true outlaws in professional wrestling. Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And Ricky, what do you got to say about the PG-13?
You know what amazes me? How these people think PG-13 are the greatest heroes of all time. But these heroes, what could they do? Because they was laying there helpless in a pool of blood. All we want to say is, guys, welcome to our world. Yes, sir. You see, guys, you was there. It took 20 or more of all the USWA wrestlers to come to the ring to get rubber eye off of PG-13 and Randy Hales. You see 20 of them, Robert. What's that make us? What does that make the Rock and Roll Express, and what does that make Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
Number one.
Now, after all the ambulances, the people climbed up, flood, the police, and everybody being down there, what happens? Eddie Martin gets up out of his wheelchair, goes over and calls Bob Armstrong, commissioner of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and demands that we come back to Memphis. But you know what's better than that, Robert? PG-13 wants a Texas death match with the Rock and Roll Express. Guys, didn't you learn your lesson last time? What are you thinking, idiots? What are you thinking? A Texas death match. Falls don't count. No disqualification. Falls count anywhere in the building. Guys, what are you asking for? You cannot stop this match on account of blood. You can't stop this match because you knocked the referee down. If it's one of USWA's, of course. But guys, you understand this. If you think in your head for 1 minute that you're going to come and get revenge on the Smoky Mountain Wrestling or the Rock and Roll Express, you remember this, guys. Everybody has an opinion. And you know what our opinion is. This time, guys, you're not going to walk out. You're going to be laying in a hospital bed right beside Randy Hill. See ya.
Okay, let's come out of that.
Well,
All right, Wolfie, respond to Lance describing it, and then talk about that.
Oh man, gave me cold chills. I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, man, no, Lance is Lance for a reason. He's a legend for a reason, man. And they just say it, the words and the delivery. It's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. We just have Wolfie for about 22, 23 more minutes, so I'm skipping some video because I want to tell as much of this story as possible. We kept adding different elements to this program, as there you go. All right, look at Wolfie there. That is great.
If you would like 13 pint-size All-Stars, get a hold of me at Live Wolfie D, or I'm on Facebook too. But find me. Sorry, Randy, go ahead.
Hey, I think I deserve a free one of those damn things. I contributed a little bit to the deal. We add different elements to each week. We started with the tag, then we added Andrea, then we added Mark Curtis, and we keep it going. We did the angle with I'm Bloody, I'm Gone, and this is where we went from there.
Happened to this world. You look at some of the different, we've talked about the Rock and Roll Express, and we'll be saying more about them, but that's just an example. I just not really sure I understand all that's going on in this world, my friend. One of the big things that's happened in a long time was this Wild and Woolly Texas death match, and I think the footage is going to speak for itself.
This is your match you're proud of.
Was blinding in terms of intensity. You judge for yourself as we're going to look at it right now. PG-13, Rock and Roll Express, and watch the ending.
Oh, this is there's we got Buddy.
Is this it?
Or no, right?
I'm not sure.
Buddy, because this is Louisville versus Memphis.
No, this is Louisville.
Yeah, that's the big one.
So the way it started in both towns is you're hot because I've been beat up. So you hit the ring, Rock and Roll bailed, and you all beat the crap out of Mark Curtis.
Yeah.
I thought this was a hell of a match.
This started a couple of weeks ago, actually longer than that, back on the 25th anniversary here in Louisville Gardens.
Yeah, Dean's doing a good job with this commentary.
PG-13 and the Rock and Roll Express started some bad feelings. PG-13 having the crowd support here in the USWA, Rock and Roll Express used to having it for years and years. Seemed to be insulted by that. Robert, J.C. Ice again placing the fist into the forehead jaw area of Robert Gibson. Nature Boy Buddy Landell also suffering a little blood flowing from the forehead of the Nature Boy. Again, a reminder, fans, this is anything goes. After a pinfall, you get a 10 count, then you have to be able, a 30-second rest period, then you have to be able to answer the 10 count, or the match is over.
But that's good, Jack. He had all the blocking,
move
and finish.
It looks real, man.
His hands full here. Again, Mark Curtis.
Seriously, buddy, what's supposed to do?
Pummeled at the beginning of this match by PG-13.
This was after July 23rd. As you remember, you were at my house with Denise and Jim Cornette and his wife. He fired Ricky Morton from Smoky Mountain Wrestling over the phone. I fired Rick Morton. So we put Buddy in Ricky's spot.
Right.
Over a fight between the girls with Tracy Smothers and Rick Morton. Remember that?
Right.
I'm sure you were listening quietly as Cornette and I both talking to Ricky. I'm sure you thought, oh my God, I'm in the hottest program I've ever been in my life, and they've done fired our opponent.
That was like, what? But then, you know what? There was a lot of stuff like that. With outside.
This is just great stuff.
Sir Wolfie D, I have never seen that. I've seen him drive him into it. I've seen him take the table into him, but I've never seen him drop kick a table into someone. Robert Gibson taking the foot to the head of J.C. Ice. The Nature Boy Buddy Landell picking Sir Wolfie D up off the mat. And sending him for the ride into the table.
Tanner, this was not set up for a TV show. This was a live event that we take for every once in a while would record.
Yeah.
Insert in the program. And it was different than the studio look and just made it bigger than life.
Gibson takes the fist to J.C. Ice. J.C. trying to regain his composure to get back to his partner. The Nature Boy Buddy Landell with a foot into the lower abdomen.
I always loved it. Growing up, wrestling. When they would show the clips from the Coliseum or wherever else.
The reversal, the Nature Boy goes for the ride and meets the wood head to head. J.C. Ice goes through the ring.
Do you remember what the finish is?
So Wolfie D making a comeback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wolfie D's getting he's putting the table up. He's pulled the legs out. He's setting the table up in the ring. J.C. Ice over the barricade onto the top of Robert Gibson, pummeling him outside the ring. You can see into the ring area. Breaking the table.
Hey, you know, anybody that knows Buddy and knows getting him to do that was not easy thing to do.
Not easy.
Huh?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
By Buddy Landell and Mark Curtis came out and took a shot to Mark Curtis's chin. And Mark took off running for the back. The Nature Boy being covered in the ring by the Iceman. Mike Morrell being distracted temporarily back into the ring. Again, a 30-second rest period. Tracy Smothers put a bottle over the head of PG-13.
Frank Buckley in the ring.
Unbelievable.
As he saw Tracy coming.
Right. Yeah, he was my good friend, but he was not a good referee.
I can't believe it. Tracy Smothers. Frank Morrell giving the 3 count. J.C. Ice will have a 30-second rest period. Unbelievable. Tracy Smothers, of course, out of Smoky Mountain Wrestling as well.
So we lost Ricky Morton.
Cooking or what?
we add Tracy Smothers to the story. Started his career in the 80s in Memphis from Springfield, Tennessee.
Comes in and out of the clear blue sky. 3, 2, 1. Out of the clear blue sky, puts the bottle across the top of J.C. Ice.
Frank
Unbelievable
with
move.
a
He's cut open.
quick, no drama pin
8,
count.
No.
9, get it, Jamie. A 10. Oh, my goodness. The match is over.
Faster than a boxing referee, dude.
Oh, yeah, it's bad. Okay, let's come out.
Something else.
Let's come out. So every week you knew we were on the right track, correct?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when the houses keep going up, you're doing something right. I remember every night we'd be, "What's the house? What's the house? What's the house?" Right before bell time, "What's the house?"
Now, at this point, you've been outnumbered, you've been beat up, your boss was eliminated. It was just bad. You guys needed help. You absolutely needed help. And this is how you went about getting that help. Let's watch.
Conversation from downtown Bruno.
I don't either, but it was an impressive power bomb. T.D. Steele, not an easy wrestler to defeat, but Johnny Rotten did it very quickly after that power bomb. T.D. never had a chance to get going.
Okay, we're going to continue with more great action coming up, but right now, coming in, J.C. Ice, Wolfie D. We're talking about PG-13. And they have been through some rough experience, and the son of a gun that they had with Rock and Roll Express had to be one of the toughest things you guys have ever faced.
You know, Lance Russell, Rock and Roll Express, it's getting heavy, man. It's getting real heavy. You ain't pulling no punches. You ain't taking nothing back. When you get a man down, it ain't nothing for you to diss on him. So you see, you painted us yellow. You beat up our promoter. You brought in a biased referee. And we're still kicking and standing here. So what you had to do when the odds was even is run out and get Tracy Smothers to hit the ring and hit me with a bottle over the top of my head. Now, Tracy Smothers, let me tell you something, you scumbag Benedict Arnold, egg-sucking low-life scum of the earth. Just like the Rock and Roll, just like Mark Curtis, and just like Smoky Mountain Wrestling. So, boys, we've got a plan, and Wolfie's going to tell you our plan.
Well, I got to interject and say this, guys. I know about your plan. I just don't think it's going to work.
Well, Lance Russell, what we needed for this match was basically a maniac. We need a partner who is not scared of nothing, a partner who will bite your ear off, a partner who will use a chain, use a table, use a board. We need a maniac. So what we did was we called Randy Hales. We thought of who the craziest, most low-down person we could think of, and we said, Randy, call him up. Randy called him. He got hung up on. Randy called back again. He got cussed and hung up on. I called Randy Hales again. I said, Randy, I know this guy is motivated by nothing but money. I said, I want you to call him back one more time and offer him $1,000 to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to show up right here today and talk to us face to face. He does not have to wrestle. All he has to do is face us. Now, I know Mr. Coffey has told me that he's here. This guy's tried to beat our brains out. He tried to end our career. I want him to come out here right now.
Well, I told you, with all due respect, I think you're crazy when you start talking about this guy and looking to him for any kind of help, because you're right. He's motivated by nothing but the greenback, and he doesn't care. Well, there he is.
can't believe it. Wildfire, Tommy Rich. Rock and roll is going to have Tracy Smothers, and these guys are going to Tommy Rich, who tried to kill you, in order to get him to come in as a partner. I can't believe it.
Boy, you boys look like y'all been in a real bad car wreck.
That's funny.
Look, Tommy, look, we said we needed the lowest, meanest, nastiest dude that we know, man. And you're him, Tommy Rich, and we need you, man. You know, I ain't never agreed with you before, and I agree with you on that. But the bottom line is, you got my $1,000.
There you are.
You got my money.
What's he interested
Well,
in?
what's the deal, Lance Russell?
Hey, I'm not saying it
I don't
wasn't
even
a
think
deal.
they got $1,000.
I told them they were crazy.
I'm going to count it to you. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, $1,000, partner.
You guys did that.
Y'all ain't gonna use your car over this, are you? No, but we need you to be our partner, man. Us three right now. Man. Come on, Tracy. Well, now, wait a minute, Lance Russell. Now, you know the deal was when Randy Hales called me, he said all I had to do was show up at TV. And from looking at you two boys, this fight's y'all's fight. It ain't my fight. And the answer to your question is no.
Yeah, what do you expect? Hey.
Give me $1,000, man. We want you to be, man. I'll give you what. Come on.
Well, you know, I know from the beginning. I hate to say I told you so, but Rich is that kind of guy. I don't know what happened to him.
Let me tell you something. This ain't finished. That was just $1,000. I'm going to go back there. I'm getting on that phone. I'm going to find a partner. I'll keep you updated. Rock and roll is Tommy.
When you heard it from PG-13 and you saw what Tommy Rich did, he came out, took your money, and said no, and walked right off. We're going to be back in just a moment.
Okay, let's come out of it. Man, that was good stuff, Wolf.
Hey, Dick. Just took our money like that. No, that was, and I was sitting here thinking while it was going on, can you imagine? Because it wasn't scripted and it wasn't rehearsed. We didn't even talk about it. We knew what we were going to get together and rehearse that. You know what I'm saying? Can you see Tommy with a piece of paper going over our lines together? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I'm rushing here. It's 5 minutes. I have two more things as I'm looking at this. Two more things I want to see, plus the plug for this weekend. So let's quickly go ahead and roll video for what happened next.
Popped up so much recently since the Smoky Mountain USW thing. I just do not understand.
Listen to Lance.
I don't either. I mean, I was looking at the interview earlier. These guys, they all started here. Talking about Tracy Smothers, Rick Morton, Robert Gibson,
Yes.
Rock and Roll Express. They all started right here, and now all of a sudden they're just different from what we know.
Tommy Rich, and this is the strangest thing. You know the kind of, I don't have to tell you the kind of trouble we've had with Tommy Rich. But outside the ring, I'm telling you, we've known Tommy since day one. Eddie Marlin was one of Tommy's best friends. Eddie was there when Tommy was born, as a matter of fact.
It's true.
And really and truly, this is kind of goofy to say, but outside the ring, Tommy Rich is a heck of a family man. Tommy's been married 15 years. He is a great father. He's got 3 lovely daughters. And I know the guy that way. I know exactly what he's like here. He's got these handouts, grabbing the money, comes in, takes $1,000 from these guys. They can't afford just to give money away like that. And he comes in and takes it and turns around, laughs and says no and walks out. And I just don't understand it, because the guy is a very good family man. And he pulls off stuff like that. I just absolutely cannot understand. He's got to be thinking, or at least he should be thinking, his kids see him act like this on television. And they're sitting there saying, what, man, this is something that affects kids the rest of their life. I don't know. Anyhow, we got action.
Corey, you got a good one coming up. We're going to see Pat Tanaka returning, I believe.
Oh, yes, sir. Looking forward to this one. Tag team action right in the ring.
Tell me, Wolfie, what you
10
remember about Pat Tanaka. I know on one of your recent podcasts, you had his tag team partner, Paul Diamond, and that was a great podcast. Check out Live and in Color with Wolfie D. Great interview with Paul Diamond. What's your memories of Pat Tanaka?
That was funny as hell, man. Paul, the call man, I just can't get him to return my call. But a hell of a worker, man.
Memories of Gorgeous George III.
He was a hell of a worker. Remember? He's weird though, man. Road.
Yeah, real weird.
Wave and slow down and speed up.
Yeah. Yeah, great.
Remember, they used to trip Frank out so bad.
Oh, yeah. He gets so mad he'd be puffing on his weed and shaking his head. He'd be stressed.
And he'd have his teeth out and he'd say,
yeah,
what the fuck is he doing?
Just a young guy starting out here. He's still young, but evidently his association with people has changed. He's hanging out with Gorgeous George.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I remember Pat Tanaka when he
Money
was
Angle. Remember, folks, we're building our way to the blow-off. This program drew more money in the Memphis territory than any program that had been done since 1987. This was 1995. Remember, this is the thing. Wolfie asked me on his podcast, how did I have the guts to give them the push? Well, I lost. My ass was at stake. I had lost Jerry Jarrett, lost Jeff Jarrett. Waller was working almost full time in New York, and I just had extreme confidence that PG would draw money. Did I think they would get this over? I'd be lying if I said that, because this is unbelievable stuff. You can go back to the Fabs, the Rock and Roll, Tojo and Jarrett, anybody. I'll put PG-13 and this Rock and Roll Express and the Smoky Mountain feud up with anybody. I'll put this angle up with anything in the country as far as good wrestling. This is great stuff. And it's the talent. It's the absolute talent. And we're working our way to the end of this program, and this is a big step. So I'm putting y'all over with me, so at least you could say something nice about me.
Well, let you go. I didn't want to interrupt. As long as you want to talk nice about, I was going to let you run.
In the ring, PG-13 is Mark.
No, I mean, we've said it 100 times, man. Everybody involved, from the announcers to the referees to the wrestlers, everybody involved.
We don't need any surprises from you. We need you out of here.
Now here comes Angle, folks.
We're not going to follow you. Allowed if money was free.
Do what you want there. We're not going to follow you.
Just get out of here. Where is Curtis going? You know, I don't trust this guy one bit. Not what I see. Can we follow him out?
With cameras following him there, we'll see what he's doing. He's going out one of the exits here at the TV
I love that the camera goes outside. That camera shot has to adjust, and that's the beauty of live TV.
Right.
Here's
Yeah.
Tracy, here's Robert.
But it's also cool because it kind of kayfabe, you know what I mean? Added a little drama to it while the camera adjusted. Tracy was beating the damn shit.
Yes, he was.
Man, or he was intense. And I loved him to death. When it was time for him to get his heat, he fucking got it. And I mean, I'm sure on everything too.
So TD Steele in. We send people in, and it didn't work before, and now the underneath talent comes in. The people's hot. This is real heat, people. This is real heat as they're destroying. It wouldn't have meant nothing if they were beating up people the people didn't care about. They cared about PG.
You know, the problem is there's not any much around.
And that chair shot Tracy gave me just started. And I kind of took it that way on purpose, too. I kind of took it sideways because it was a good shot.
Again, Steve Dunn, the late Steve Dahl come in. They're fighting. They just can't get in.
That's the way they're all acting. As just a bunch of thugs, egged on by Mark Curtis. A clothesline with that rebel flag by Tracy Smothers. Robert Gibson right there. Smothers.
Now, one thing I thought would have been better, as I've watched this before, so we were just trying to time this for our break. And
you thought it went too long?
So I don't think it went long. See, Tracy, I was about ready to send the save. Tracy takes you outside the ring. I wish that wouldn't have happened.
I got you.
Get your hands off of me or I'll throw you out of
He
here.
barely got back. He didn't get back in the ring. This is brutal, people.
Who you telling, Randy?
I hear what you're saying, but this is
Well, they beat me up too, man.
coming in here, jumping guys, outnumbering everybody. Garbage.
Now here comes Tom.
Here comes Tommy Rich. Tommy Rich picks up a chair, and all of a sudden, Smoky Mountain leaves.
Total chaos.
Got him out of here. Boy, let's take a break. We'll try to settle it down and be back with you in just a moment.
All right. As we come out of that, that was absolutely fantastic. Here's the thing. I'm going to kind of have a production meeting right here. Here's the thing. I've got one more video that's 2 minutes and 56 seconds. It's Tommy Rich coming out and agreeing to be your partner. We can either show that, then you comment, or we can wrap it up right now and do the hard sell on this weekend in Nashville. Do you want to do that? Just go ahead and talk. Go ahead and go with the Nashville plug.
No, go ahead and go with the Tommy Rich gimmick.
Okay, just real quick, while I load it, your thoughts. And you described it, but give me time to load this video. Your thought on that beatdown.
So in this filler segment about the beatdown, I will be discussing it was like you said, it was brutal, and I know, and they were all. It was great. You have to be that way. I'm the same way. When it's and. That's what they did, and then I like how when Tommy he didn't come back to us, and only once did he kind of look over at us like, look at these guys. So you still kind of left in what's going to happen here.
Let's go ahead and play the video.
Summertime is here, and it's just crazy, and it is crazy, Dave.
I think I'm about to wilt in the heat, too. I tell you, it's been some kind of day.
Absolutely. I do not believe PG-13 could stood any more pounding if Tommy Rich had not come out here and jumped in to give them a hand. There's no way in the world those boys would have survived that. Terrible. Take a look at what happened.
Look at J.C. Ice. Robert Gibson comes out
Talking about a friend in need and a friend indeed. Boy, I'm telling you, they had one right there at the moment.
They did, and you know, a little while earlier, I would have thought, no, he would never be there to help him out, but there he was.
I want to get Tommy over here and just say this much, if I can get untangled here to get around, to say, Tommy, we appreciate it, partner. I'm going to tell you one thing. Whatever's gone before and all, I know the people have never known the real Tommy Rich the way that I have and Dave has and all. For you to come in here and do that was muchly appreciated.
Lance, I want to tell you thank you. First of all, you know, you've been around for a long time, and I've seen you pull a lot of strings with a lot of different guys. And today you pulled the right one with me. You know, it's like talking about mom and the babies. And, you know, I've did a lot of rotten things. I was here for 10 months. And, you know, sometimes it was hard to sleep. And, you know, it's like my little girl come home. My little girl right before school got out, and she come home, she was crying, you know. And talking about, you know, the kids, talking about how mean their daddy was, and it really hurt our feelings. And you know, it's been kind of gigging at me, and just like I said, today you pulled the right string, and I want to thank you, and I want to make a promise to all the people. You're not going to see a brand new Tommy Rich. You're going to see a Tommy Rich starting today that starts changing, and I'm going to try to change more and more every day. You know, I can't make no promises. You know, sometimes it rolls up and down, but, you know, for everybody out there, I just want to thank you, Lance, and tell Mom and the babies I love them. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Tommy Rich, man. I got to tell you.
That gave me chills. Absolutely. So wrap up the Smoky Mountain USWA story in 1 minute, what it means to you.
Angle I was ever involved in, I would say. And just like that, even though we brought that back into the mix, there was just so much storytelling and so much intertwining, just all worked and clicked, man. We just, when things are clicking, they click. It's just like a football team that peaks at the right moment in the season to get to the Super Bowl and win it. You know, it's kind of like we just were all clicking on all cylinders, and it was the right people and the right minds. And it was.
Have you enjoyed being able to go back and watch stuff you probably haven't watched in 20 years?
Oh, absolutely. I'm telling you, almost everything other than the first, I really had forgotten a lot of those things, especially, like I said, I was watching like I didn't, you know, and so it's cool to watch it from like even just the stuff we've watched with you. It's allowed me to watch it as now I'm seeing it almost from a different perspective. You know, like a fan almost. Okay, now I'm seeing how we did the story.
Yeah, absolutely. I've kept you a few minutes later. You have to, to get prepared for that match. So here we go. And Adam back in Master Control in Georgia. Follow me because I'm going to have to need backup on graphics here. It's a exciting weekend coming up this weekend. I'll do my Lance Russell. I'll do my Dave Brown. Nashville, Tennessee turns in the Super Summer Slam weekend, including Conrad Thompson and crew presents StarCast on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. SummerSlam is Saturday. Sunday, obviously, is Ric Flair's final match. It is a great card, a bunkhouse battle royal representation from promotions all over. Bully Ray, Bubba Ray from ECW and the WWE. It's a loaded bunkhouse battle royal, and representing the USWA will be at the Municipal Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee, will be Wolfie D. You will also see a four-way match. The Briscoe brothers, not Jack and Jerry, but the Ring of Honor Briscoe brothers against the Von Erichs. You will see Davey Boy Smith Jr. against Killer Cross. The Wolves against the Motor City Machine Guns. Impact Ladies title match, three-way. Impact World title match, Josh Alexander against Jacob Fatu. There's 10 matches on the card, including Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal with Karen Jarrett in the corner. in Ric Flair's final match against Ric Flair's son-in-law, Andrade, and the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, his final match. It's in Nashville, Tennessee. It's at the Municipal Auditorium. It's on Sunday night. It's on Fight TV at 6 o'clock. So parting words about the Stampede, about this entire weekend. Are you going for just Sunday only? What's your plans for the weekend?
Sunday only. There's a possibility they may want me to come in Saturday night for something along the lines of the production stuff. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, just honored to be representing Memphis, the USWA, in my hometown of Nashville. They didn't, I was just Slash just over a month ago on a battle royal for them, 20th anniversary of Impact. Them on there and gave me a nice send off there. So it's even bigger, man.
Maybe your final match. And maybe your final match.
Mine?
Yes. Possibility.
Yeah, it probably will be. I won't be out there after next surgery. Next surgery is coming real soon. Like I said, I just saw the doctor. Yeah, you're definitely going to need surgery. I have no feeling from like here down. Severe pain in the neck constantly. I know I was a pain in your neck for many years. But, yeah, man, just like I said, this is probably it for me. I talked to a lot of people that I went to school with and stuff, and turn out with Wolfie D signs.
Is Jeff coming?
If y'all want some of these,
your buddy Jeff,
get in touch with me. And I also got T-shirts like this if you want one of these.
Before I let you go real quick, my normal co-host from Alabama, Pat, real quick, I want you to say just your thoughts about the great stuff we saw today, your thoughts real quick, and we got to get Wolfie out of here. He tells me he's not on. So, Wolfie, you know what you mean to me. Certainly, you made me look like a genius. I said this and this, Pat. Pat, your real quick thoughts. Wolfie's got to go about what you saw today because most of this, you weren't here. You were in Birmingham. What did you think?
Pat, if you're putting me over, take your time.
Well, I am certainly going to put you over. I'll tell you, Wolfie, I had not seen that angle. I mean, I've seen pieces of that angle, but you and Jamie did outstanding work from stem to stern on that. Really, really, really good stuff.
Thank you.
And very, very much underrated and unsung heroes, and certainly a big piece in history of Memphis wrestling. And I'm honored to be with you, and I hope the weekend goes well for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat. And Pat will join us. Michael St. John, not feeling real good, had some teeth pulled today. He is supposed to be here for the second hour. We hope he does. Wolfie, you know what I feel
Hey, you tell him
about you.
I said he could have done it. He could have done it alone.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what I feel about you, and it was just great times. I've liked doing this, like doing your podcast, and I'll be watching on Fight TV Sunday, and I'll be pulling for you. Love you, man, and I thank you for doing the show.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me, Randy.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you, Wolfie.
All right, Wolfie D, everybody. Big weekend from him. For the first time in 2 weeks, welcome back to the show, Pat Trammell. You pretty much said what you thought about the show. I was looking at the screen. I thought you went to sleep on me.
No. I didn't go to sleep on you. I had to catch a call and catch in on a couple things. The road goes on forever these days, as you know. I'd like to say hello to everybody. I'll tell you, I love our new format. The only thing that I don't like is I'm not able to say hello to everybody when they type on the messages over there because you can't do that if you're in the thing. But it is so good to see everybody: Panetti, Mott, Jeremy, Al, Scott, one of my wrestling heroes, Randy Balky, was on earlier. I don't know if he still is, but you guys mean a lot to what we do, and it's the reason I'm here.
Adam, if you could, when we get the opportunity, if Michael, man, he's just not feeling good and he was
Hey,
taking some
Scott.
medicine, so he may not be here today. So we'll just in this the last hour that we have on the show today, I think we did a great job covering PG-13, the Rock and Roll, the Smoky Mountain feud, all that kind of stuff. I think it was great, and we did cover everything. Certainly, we plugged Starcast and SummerSlam, all that. But I want to know the news that came out on Friday that Vince McMahon retired. That was a forced resignation. We find out later, and then they announced on Monday. I believe I'm right on this. I'm not sure on the time, but they did announce that the new head of creative was going to be Triple H, and the CEOs, and back us up with pictures, Adam, if we could do that now. The new co-CEOs of the WWE is Stephanie McMahon and also Nick Khan. Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan will be the CEOs. And the sad picture of Vince McMahon saying goodbye, we have a pretty classic pictures there. Say all the good, all the bad, anything you want about Vince. He's given to that company and the wrestling and the wrestlers. There's a lot of millionaires and some billionaires. Thanks to Vince McMahon. Would The Rock be the hottest movie star currently in the world without Vince McMahon? Now, I'm not condoning because I wasn't there. As you see, Vince McMahon with Stephanie and the new head of creative, Triple H. I'm not in any way condoning this situation and at all. And apparently, the Wall Street Journal yesterday, and I think we might have that slide. We may not, but the Wall Street Journal is saying the federal government, federal authorities are investigating Vince. So this is a real serious thing. If the allegations is true, absolutely, Vince McMahon should not be the person running the WWE. There's no doubt about it. Stocks went up to 70, and there's that shot, that graphic ex WWE CEO Vince McMahon under federal investigation per the Wall Street Journal. Now, you know more about stocks than I do, Pat. Yesterday, the stocks were up to $71 a share. Today dropped a little bit to like 79.75, but the company is valued at $5 billion. I think a lot of wrestling fans, Pat, thought that was a positive that Triple H is now head of creative. I guess what do you think about this whole thing, Pat?
Well, I let me say this. I don't know about all the allegations. I'm gonna and I think and I'm not Stuart Varney, okay, but I'm a career banker, as many of you know. I have lent money to and been on advisory boards of public companies in the past. Again, I'm no expert, but a couple things. I have not read about allegations. My understanding of what went on was, for the most part, everything was consensual and it was hush money. Now, that may not be true. Okay, so let's take that off the table. That was my understanding. It sounds like I might be might be mistaken there.
No, I think
The
you're right.
Well, if it's consensual, then what the feds are investigating Vince for is diversion of public funds. Um, the reason the stock went up when Vince, and that stock, I looked briefly, that stock is held pretty widely institutionally. And what that means is it's held by individuals, but a large chunk of that is held by investment funds. Um, what the reason I suspect it went up is that when Vince resigned, it took a lot of the unknown off the table. At the end of the day, you have a company that cash flows about $2.5 billion a year, and it is a valuable business without all the foolishness going on with Vince. So taking Vince off the off the table, the company still has a tremendous amount of value. And when Vince leaves, it takes an unknown disruptor out of the company. Um, that company has value in ways that are different than we might think. Number one, that streaming service is extremely valuable because it has a lot of subscribers. And as you know, Randy, Vince was out buying up content to run on that streaming service before there was a streaming service. And a lot of people pay a lot of money, and I don't know how much it is, $10 a month or something like that, and they've got, a couple 3 million subscribers. They pay to get the events, get the pay-per-views, but also get the, wrestling history videos. That's incredibly valuable because it is an ongoing revenue stream. In addition, the company creates, millions and millions of dollars at live events, not necessarily just on ticket sales, but on T-shirts and on belts and on hats and all kinds of things. So the company, the wrestling business, as you well know, Randy, used to be primarily about getting tickets in the door and butts in the seats. But the WWE brand has so much more, so many more ways to make money. And I think the stock went up because they've kind of cleared the table with Vince getting out of the company. Assuming that all this stuff was pretty consensual, I don't think Vince spent enough money in the scheme of things for that federal investigation really to go anywhere.
One thing that I want to add, a couple things Al says that he understands that HBO. Let me look at this. If we could put that back, HBO Real Sports is doing a feature about Vince. Here's the thing they were reporting on the Wrestling Observer yesterday, Pat. Their speculation, and other people have speculated, that the reason the stock rose was not necessarily because that Stephanie is the CEO, co-CEO, or Triple H taking over creative. They think, the stock market thinks, that the WWE, and this has been the rumor for several years, why Nick Khan was brought into the company to help facilitate a sale, whether it's NBC Universal, whether it's Disney, some major Amazon, I think, is some of the Amazon and NBC, and there's several. So just have you heard that? And as a business person, does it look to you that, Pat, might be where it's headed?
Well, anytime you have a public company, one of the things that the investor group and the stock analysts, which really drive all this thing, is concerned about is succession of management. And this has pretty much been Vince's show since 1982, since before they were public. I can see that the company has significant value out in the market for a sale to another entertainment company. And I don't know. WWE is unique in the way the stock ownership is structured. The way it's structured is you can buy a share of stock, I can buy a share of stock, everybody on here can buy a share of stock, and we can ride up and down on the stock. In my company before it sold, I had shareholders, and it was if I owned, and I did not, but we did not have a majority shareholder, but the majority shareholders make the rules. We all voted like any partnership. WWE is unique as a public company in the voting shares reside in the family. So you and I can own stock, but we have a very limited say in how the company is managed. And the family has kept what is called voting shares, which is very unusual in a public company. So you couldn't get the McMahon family out of there if you wanted to. If this was a standard stock company, generally the owners, the founders, end up owning a minority share, and the shareholders can all get together and kick them out. That could never happen in WWE. What I think may have been afoot, and it's been discussed for a couple of years or at least 18 months that they were possibly going to sell the company. You know, Triple H Shane, has basically left active management of the company. I think Stephanie did too, and Triple H seemed to. So it looked to me like, the family had decided maybe this is the time to cash out and go home. And so there may have been in the works some sale to somebody like at NBC Universal or ESPN or really anybody who's
You
looking for
know,
content.
Al asked the question. He said that there's been rumors, and I hadn't heard the rumors, but said a rumor a year ago about the so-called allegations with Vince McMahon, and he asked the question, and it's hard to say, but he asked the question that if the sale went through a year ago, he's asking if these allegations would have ever come out, and certainly I think there's no way to know that. So what's your speculation there? If the company
Um,
was sold, would this scandal be something we'd be talking about now?
probably not as much. Uh, and I'll be honest with you, Randy. I just heard it came out. I don't know where it came from. Um, I think Vince had been, and I'm not making a, I'm not, any ladies, Panetta and anybody else on here. I'm not making a comment about anything other than I don't know if Vince had been what appeared to be very generous to who he had his relationships with. However, you see that, and again, I don't know that there were a lot of allegations of anything other than something consensual, and I'm not trying to make any moral judgments on anything. Um, I think if the company had been sold, it's possible there could have been if somebody he had a relationship with, you know, wanted to come back and try to get some more money out of it to keep Linda from hearing. That basically would have been all that would have been about, because there wouldn't have been any opportunity to do anything but have a have a converse have a the ability to attack Vince and his family personally. And I don't know anything personally about Vince McMahon at all, and don't know what he's been like. I mean, but all I really know about him personally is what you hear on podcasts from Jim Cornette and others. I know he has been a workaholic for 45 years. Um, but I don't know about his personal life. I do understand as this came out that he and his wife have a you know a not a very very separate life kind of relationship, and that's none of my business. I have met her when she was president of the or not president, but was an appointee to be head of the Small Business Administration. She spoke at a conference I was at, and I had the opportunity to visit with her for 5 or 10 minutes, and she's a very bright, intelligent person, and did a fantastic job in that role for um, which was a presidential appointment. So
We're
that's
in
kind
the
of my take on it.
we're in the process. Emailing back and forth with Michael. Sent him another. I've sent him another email. Said he's been trying since 8, and I checked. I did send him an email to the production uh, deal. So hopefully he will be here at all. We'll just jump around a little bit. I think.
David, to answer your question, Linda resigned toward the end of the Trump administration as head of the SBA, and those presidential appointees. You generally, that's something the president appoints to his people, and she served her term and she did it well and honorably, and resigned at the end of his administration.
Want to welcome to the show. A little over an hour into it. We've had a great show today on the 26th day. It was a hot day in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Apparently, Michael under the weather a little bit today. Welcome to the show, Michael St. John.
Thank you, Randy. I got to tell you, I've been listening to the show since about 10 minutes to 8, and I've been very impressed. I don't think you need me tonight, quite frankly, but great job by you. Great job by Wolfie and all. Pat, when it comes to what we're talking about, what you guys are talking about right now, there couldn't be a better quote unquote expert out there. And I think he's right on the money, but thank you for allowing me to come. Just a quick note, as you may have noticed, I'm a little more pale than usual. And I'm on some Tylenol I had surgery. You can see these jaws are a little more swollen than they normally are. No, I haven't gained weight in my face, but I had 3 teeth cut out yesterday, and Dr. Roberson over in Coleman, Alabama does a great job, but I've been a little sore. And anyway, I'll do the best I can for the remainder of the show.
Okay, let's just jump around a little bit, Michael. And the first thing, and Adam, if you would back me up on this, I want to talk about Music City, USA. I want to talk about Nashville, Tennessee. I want to talk about this weekend. It's Summer Slam weekend coming up. It's Summer Slam is Saturday at the home of the Tennessee Titans, at the home of Nissan Stadium Summer Slam. Also, I want to talk about a great event coming up. It's StarCast, presented by Conrad Thompson and his band of podcasts. It is a great event coming up in Music City, USA. And as I am trying to certainly switch to my notes, obviously I want to tell everybody it will be held. StarCast will be starting on Friday, and there you see, if you want to glance at the events schedule, I don't think all the events are listed, but if you would glance at that, why I give you some information. StarCast held in Nashville at the fairgrounds, and also Ric Flair's final match will be Sunday at 6 at the downtown Memorial Auditorium. Now, if you want information on how to purchase tickets, if you want to go to Nashville and be a part of SummerSlam, check the WWE website. If you want this wrestling fan fest, Jerry Lawler, Jerry Jarrett, Michael will be there, a whole lot of people. Wolfie will be wrestling. The website for this is StarCast, StarRCAST.com. On Twitter, it's at StarCast Events. All events on Fight.tv. Flair's last match, and I did purchase this on Fight TV. There's a lot of different packages that you can get everything. I ordered the card, the Flair card, $34.99. And if you want the Ric Flair's last match card and the roast of Ric Flair, that's $99.99. You can go to Fight.tv to purchase that, and also again StarCast.com. Quickly again, the July the 31st Memorial Auditorium card, the Bunkhouse Battle Royal featuring Bully Ray, Bubble Ray, Wolfie D, and so many more. A four-way match. The Briscoe brothers, not Jack and Jerry, versus the Von Erichs, not Kevin and Kerry. Killer Cross against Davey Boy Smith Jr. The Wolves against the Motor City Machine Guns. Impact Ladies title match, three-way. Impact World title match, Josh Alexander against Jacob Fatu. And the main event of the evening, Jay Lethal and Double J Jeff Jarrett with Karen Jarrett versus Nature Boy Ric Flair in his final match, his last match, and his son-in-law Andrade. There's so many panels, so many great events, and we show that pictures there. Michael, what can you share? Or when are you going to Nashville? What part of the Pacific are you going to see? Are you going to go see SummerSlam? Just tell me about your weekend coming up.
Well, my weekend coming up, first of all, is Joshua's third birthday on Saturday, so I won't be going to SummerSlam, but as soon as the birthday events are up, I'm going up, and I'll be staying in Gallatin with my broadcast ownership partner at the stations up there, and then Sunday morning, I'm got to get up very early because we got an early taping of a Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler podcast that will be part of the bonus stuff that you get along with any of the purchases, I understand, with Conrad's podcast program. I want to say this. I've known Conrad for over 10 years. I think he has done a fabulous job of putting this together, and his team that I've actually had some communications with for the first time are really very, very professional on getting this done. And to see this kind of lineup, this, Randy, there's not a major WWE or an Impact or an AEW behind this whole production. This is literally an independent production that's come all together just by the hard work of these people. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. And as far as the matches, I don't watch a lot of independent wrestling, but I know some of the people on the card. That tag team with the Briscoes and what is the other team? The
Von Erichs.
Von Erichs. That's got to be, I mean, that's a highlight in my book. Now, let me ask you this. I know the Von Erich boys, those are Kevin's kids, but
Yes.
are the Briscoes any kin to the Briscoe brothers either? No kin.
No. And I think they're the best tag team in America today.
They
Really?
are.
No doubt.
Yeah,
No
they're
doubt.
big team. Obviously, sins of the past on social media is why AEW and WWE won't sign them up. Just bad stuff said on social media, and both major companies are afraid to go with them. That's basically as what happened there. My question is, because it's been a long time since I've been to the downtown municipal auditorium, and I wanted to set up the old building that we wrestled in is gone.
Correct.
At the Nashville Fairgrounds for the soccer or something. They put something else
Correct.
there. But there's
Correct.
other buildings in the fairgrounds. And the way I understand it, the Fan Fest on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be at the fairground off of Wedgwood. It'll be there. But the matches on Sunday, remember SummerSlam Saturday, the matches Sunday at 6 o'clock at the Municipal Auditorium. Help me remember how big a venue that is, and help me remember where exactly it is downtown Nashville. Michael?
It's right in the shadows of the state capitol on James Robertson Parkway, a half a block from Channel 5, where we used to do all the interviews for Ghoulish Wrestling back in the day. And it's been remodeled. I actually got to do an indoor football game there about 6-7 years ago, and it had just been remodeled, and they did a really good job. It is a venue that back in the day could hold up to about 8,500 and maybe 9,000 people. They've got that down a little bit because of the renewal, and I think they hold about 5,000 to 6,000. And but very comfortable seat. It's a round. It's one of the old fishbowl arenas where you don't have a hole in front of you, and you don't have a bad seat in the house. Even if you're up high, you're still not that far away from the action down on the floor. So it's a very good arena. I know back in the day it hosted some of the biggest concerts that were known to man including the Allman Brothers. And of course, it was the home of the volunteer jams by Charlie Daniels the entire time he did them. So it's not a bad venue. The biggest problem with that venue is what it has been forever since it's been there, is parking.
Right.
Because you have to park in a garage. There's very little street parking. There's a few lots that are owned by various companies in and around there. But the parking in Nashville over the past, maybe 10 years has gone from a $5 parking fee that time of night to a $30 fee because of all the activities downtown.
Yeah, I was curious as to what decent parking there was in Davidson County now.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Real quick, and I want to comment on the wrestling event, Players Final Match again, but I want to add on in Master Control if he could, because I want Michael to see just kind of a goofy picture of the wild look of Mark and Jay Briscoe. Adam, if you could, I don't know if you're still around as I look. Michael is, or Adam is not even in Master Control right now at all. Or maybe he's sitting down. If you can find a picture of Mark and Jay Briscoe. So here's what happened. They were having Flair's final match, Michael, at the auditorium, probably set up for 900 people, or not at the auditorium, at the fairgrounds,
or 1,000
people, whatever the case, and it sold out in an hour or something real quick. And so Conrad asked Jeff if he knew another option. So Jeff knew, of course, the Municipal Auditorium people, and obviously TNA in the early days wrestled there. And also, Michael, when we did Combination Show, I've been in the building one time that I can remember, and that was in probably 87 or 88. And there's the Briscoe boys. Do they look
them boys?
Them boys are badasses, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. David Linville and anybody else interested, watch these guys on YouTube. They are fantastic.
Yeah, they really good. They had a great match with AEW's FTR at a Ring of Honor event. They just have that wild and willing, as obviously they're called, them boys, and they're tough son of a guns. And I think it's a unique look and a unique type of character that wrestling was. We used to get all kinds, from Plowboy Frazier to Kamala to Don and Al Greens, all type of body parts. Maybe, and we'll get to this subject in a minute, with the WWE and a change of creative direction. And Vince McMahon liked the bodybuilder look. He really did. Triple H has a history in NXT of going with kind of, if they can work and if they could draw money and they could get over, he doesn't care how tall they are or how big they are. He just, if they're over, they're over. And if they have a chance to get over, he'll go with them. But still, I'm excited about this. I think this is big for Nashville. I'm so glad that Michael St. John is involved in the thing, and with Jerry Lawler, and with obviously with Jerry Lawler and Jerry Jarrett. It'll be great. Let me say something to put over. I'm going to put over Jerry Jarrett. You don't hear that a lot from me, folks, on this show, but I am. And I'm also going to tell you about a booking mistake I made in 1995 into 95, started 96, that I made a major mistake in doing, even though Jeff pitched me the idea when he came back from the WWF, when he left there, quit after In Your House. That happened to be in 95. That happened to be at In Your House at the National Memorial Auditorium, where the wrestling will be Sunday. So I think that is interesting for sure. But here's the thing. Conrad Thompson has the My World Jeff Jarrett podcast. Jeff Jarrett today with substitute, because Jeff and Conrad got in a big blowout argument last week because Jeff and Jay Lethal beat up Ric Flair. Then Conrad got mad. He cussed Jeff. Jeff cussed him. So this week, and I sent both of you guys and Adam the audio of that. Michael was not feeling so good, and Pat didn't have time to watch it. But here's the thing. Jeff Jarrett had Karen Jarrett, his wife, who did a great, great interview, but who blew it out of the water was Jerry Jarrett, that did what I thought was a excellent money interview from Jerry Jarrett, that Jerry Jarrett went heel. The interview knocked Ric Flair, knocked David Crockett, knocked Jim Crockett, knocked Albert Crockett, knocked everybody you could think of knocking. But selling the match, selling the match, selling the match. He never got away with selling the match. Now, where I missed the boat, again, Jeff suggested when he came back, he wanted to be heel. He was hot off the WWF TV. He wanted to be heel. He wanted to do an angle to switch Frank Morrell heel because that was his buddy. Mm-hmm. And it did good, but didn't draw a whole lot of money. When I saw that interview from Jerry, or heard that interview audio from Jerry, and I text Jeff, I said, man, missed the boat. Instead of having Frank in that spot, we should have had your dad. It was unbelievable. So take it for what it's worth, Michael, because you don't hear mixed positive stuff coming from me from Jerry Jarrett, but was over the top great. Michael St. John.
You know, for as long as I saw Jerry Jarrett wrestle back in the days when I was young, I never remember him being a heel ever.
He never was. No,
he was the ultimate baby face.
Yeah.
And to hear, and I've got to go back and listen to this, but to hear that he's done a heel interview, I can only imagine. And in Jerry's, Jerry's a little bit older than you and me, Randy, and to hear him and to just in my mind figure out how he's doing this, I can imagine that it is probably phenomenal. And
and here's the thing. It was based on his style of talking in the office, talking in the car. His babyface interviews was the same thing. Quiet, didn't yell, didn't scream, but at the same time, he knew how to structure a heel interview because he gave many of them. For sure, he gave many of them. As we take that shot off, as right in the middle of the shot, Pat walks away. But it's absolutely phenomenal. Now, catch me up. When is the event and where are you involved? At the fairgrounds? And is it Sunday?
Actually, we are at a taping. I'm at a taping that will be done on Sunday that will be shown back. I assume it will be shown back on Sunday afternoon during the event's pre-show for the matches at the Municipal Auditorium, and also be on one of the podcasts on the part of the Patreon package that Conrad has. But that is my involvement. I'm planning on going after that. Both Jerry and Jeff, or Jerry rather, and Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler are doing the Fan Fest kind of thing that they're doing at the fairgrounds that day. So I'm sure that there'll be some activities there. Quite a few people from this area I know are going up to it. SummerSlam sort of got a real shot in the arm with all of this Vince McMahon news.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you guys got to watch yesterday on Raw, but it motivated me to post on Twitter, and I've had several people comment and share what I said is I thought the first 5 minutes of Raw last night were as engaging as I have seen Raw in 15 years. And they came on with the fight was in progress when they came on the air.
I had forgot about that part, Michael. When I saw your text, I'm thinking, Michael never done drugs in his life, but I heard your comment.
Tylenol. I'm on Tylenol.
Yeah, I know you're on Tylenol, but when I saw the post, I can tell you, Michael, I thought you were on drugs. I'm thinking, how in the world can he like that? I thought, here's my thought. As I think back, and as you mentioned that brawl that came on was great. It really was. But they did so much in the rest of that next segment with the 15-minute talk segment, even though it was pretty good. It's typical Vince McMahon style, the opening promo. And then they went with other stuff. I thought the show, and I understand them not changing directions total, And I want to get in another thing. And so, Adam, if you could put Scott's art, could put his comment up there, and we want to talk about that. And I don't want to forget the fact that we have Pat Trammell here. Scott Art says, in my mind, I cannot believe Jerry Lawler is not on this card somehow, some way. He should be in the main event. Jeff Jarrett and Jerry the King Lawler against Ric Flair and Jay Lethal. First of all, I don't know if the WWE would have approved that. First of all. Second of all, I'm sure Flair absolutely wanted his son-in-law to be his partner. Absolutely. And it's not like Flair and his enemies with Lawler, or Lawler's enemy with Flair. I don't know if it would have been approved, and just I don't know right now if Lawler's he may or may not be doing wrestling or bookings. I'm not positive about that. Then I'll let Pat comment in a minute, but real quick, yes or no answer. Are you going to Ric Flair's final match, Michael St. John?
I'm planning on attending, yes. Yes,
that's great. Your thoughts on our subjects, what we're into now about this weekend, the matches, the festivities, everything. Pat Trammell from Birmingham, Alabama.
Well, I would go and I would take my son Wyatt, but his mother has decided we're all going to the beach. So we're doing that, but we're going to get it. He's got a friend coming, so we're going to get it on Fight TV. To be perfectly honest with you, I have very, very much mixed emotions about Ric Flair getting in the ring again. I wish he had his last match already, but I will say this has turned into such an event, and I guess in some respects a celebration of his career. Um, I'm happy all that's happening. I'll be glad when the match is over, and I don't expect an awful lot, but it looks like it's a place for wrestling fans to come together and honor Rick, one, which certainly he's as legend as gets, but also honor a bunch of other people. And
Yes.
all the festivities going on. It's just going to be a great WrestleFest. And Michael, you're right. You've known Conrad a lot longer than most people, but I knew I've never met Conrad except through Twitter, but I knew his dad back many years ago when I was a young banker, and that is a fantastic family full of integrity and hard work. And Rick's had his own issues personally, professionally, and financially, and he's got a great son-in-law, really great son-in-law.
One of the things I want to touch, I quickly ran down the card. I quickly ran down the events. They are going to have some panels and different discussions at the event. The roast of Ric Flair, and you can get the roast and the match on Fight TV for $99, but also other great stuff. And Adam, real quick, if you could put the list of events up there, you will see the roast of Ric Flair. That's the event schedule. Yes, the roast of Ric Flair, the one last ride of the Horsemen, JJ and Arn and Tully will be there. You will have 30 years later with Bret Hart. We'll have a live podcast, and those live podcasts are great, certainly, because they can say stuff that they can't say on the radio. Foley is pod. Mick Foley will be there. Paige will be there. It's just Kevin Nash will be there. It's absolutely amazing. So Michael, we'll ask you on the list of the panels, the roast, the Foley, everything's going on. What would you, if you would have gone for the entire weekend as a fan, what would you be interested in seeing?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of moving parts to this. So I think you have to go where your heart is and where you're looking at. I first of all, I think the roast of Ric Flair is going to be hilarious. I think that's going to be, I think some people are going to take some real wild shots, as all roasts are. And I think that's going to be great. The Bret Hart thing very much interests me, but really the headliner, the last match of Ric Flair, this is just me talking, and I have no inside information on this, but I really hope and pray that Rick comes out of this okay. I know for a fact that he has been training. In fact, he's been doing some of his training down in Orange Beach. He's been doing it some here in Huntsville with his son-in-law, and has come to town several times in the past few weeks. I did have a conversation with Conrad about 3 weeks ago in his office, and he tells me that his stepfather's in the best shape that he's known him since he's known him. He said he's in the best shape he's ever been, and he's worked hard at it. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Jay Lethal training with him?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's the angle they set up because of in the angle they showed on TV. They explained the story is we saw some video clips over the last several months of Jay Lethal training or helping train Ric Flair, and it looked great. Then the story was that he went to Ric Flair and said, Rick, if you could use your influence and get me on the card. And Ric Flair, according to Jay Lethal, said, you're an open match guy that nobody knows. You won't be on my card. So that resulted in Jay Lethal at the press conference attacking Flair. Flair ended up getting juiced, but Jeff pulled Lethal aside, and then Flair said to Jeff, get away from me, F you, and F your effing old man. So Jeff took the shoe of Karen and beat him up to a bloody mess. David Crockett tried. It was wrestling. We saw wrestling angles done the way wrestling angles were done in the first hour of this show that you missed. That Pat saw some of the stuff. I wish you'd have been here for, Michael, because you would have loved the way Lance Russell sold toward the end of the Smoky Mountain USWA feud and Tommy Rich switching babyface. The best announced performance of Lance Russell ever, and that says a lot. That says a lot. But yeah, I think Flair will be fine physically, even though it's been 11 years since he's been there. He's in the ring with pros. His son-in-law is young, but he's a pro. Wrestled in the WWE, wrestled all over the world. Jeff Jarrett, wrestling for 35 years, wrestled all over the world. Jay Lethal, TNA, ROH, world champion in ROH, different people. So he's surrounded, and Flair's smart enough not to do anything he's not comfortable, that he's not uncomfortable. He won't do anything he doesn't want to do at all.
Well, let me pose this.
Go ahead.
Let me pose this to you guys. Does Flair go over, or does Flair let the heels go over?
I think
Flair never not gone over.
most of his career, Flair put people over too much to a fault at times, I think. But I think in this particular thing, the people there from all over the world coming to see the match, and you're not building for a return match that I'm aware of in a week or a month or a day or whatever. I think absolutely Flair's got to get over, and I think certainly, I don't know any inside information. I would go with the figure four leg lock on Jeff. Jeff submits. That's what I would do.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, the one thing I've always liked about Ric Flair, and there's a lot to like about him, but one thing I've always liked about him is even though a lot of what he does in the ring may be predictable, a lot of his finishes were not. And, with this kind of thing, does he go out with his hand in the air as raised in victory, or does he, does people say, well, he got beat because he was, past his prime? There's always a story to be told, and it's going to be interesting. My gut says to agree with you guys, but boy, I'll tell you, with Ric Flair, sometimes guys, you just never know.
With Conrad running the show and Bankroll rolling the money and Jeff Jarrett involved in that thing and the son-in-law involved in the thing, Jay Lethal, I think Jeff Jarrett will be the first one to say, hey, I'm not doing that. He said, no, that's the wrong thing to do, period. He said, we need Rick over, and I'll take the figure four. I think Jeff would strongly argue, and I'm a heat guy. I just showed 1 hour worth of heat after heat after heat. Jamie and Wolfie getting their brains beat out, me bleeding so bad that Sarah Lee threw up. Lady wrestler Sarah Lee threw up. I was taken to the first aid room the week before when we did the same angle in Memphis, and Lance Russell hold my hand. My blood pressure dropped tremendously. And I was probably 38 years old at the time. So I'm a heat guy is my point. I just think there's times the babyface needs to go over. If Ric Flair gets beat at that pay-per-view, I will feel myself that I've wasted $40. I will be mad.
So does Jeff, does at some point in the match, Jerry interfere or intervene?
I can tell you, this is what I would do. I would, because I have Karen at ringside. So this is what I would do. I would do a elaborate thing. The perfect thing would be, and because it's on Fight TV, I don't think you could do the perfect thing. I really don't. But I think the perfect thing would be to do is that, first of all, David Crockett tries to interfere, and Jerry Jarrett, or Jerry, either way, Jerry Jarrett tries to interfere, and he's cut off by David Crockett and chased back to the back, babyface type of thing. Then I would have Karen go for the for the screw, and then again, this is fantasy booking that I hate. But if they were able to do it, if Charlotte Flair came out and attacked Karen Jarrett right there, the people talking about a pop at the Municipal Auditorium at the time, Jeff's distracted, Flair's up, he's recovered, he does the thing, goes to the figure four, boom, 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 everybody's happy. That would be the Randy Hales finish. I
like the element you brought in with Charlotte Flair, because there's a lot of question about her as whether she's going to ever be back with the WWE.
And she's under contract, though, so I don't know if they would let her do that. But a feel-good moment, and Triple H, now that and Stephanie and Triple H loves Flair, I think they would probably, I hope I'm not folks, this is just easy speculation if you ask me. Certainly, absolutely, 100% have not heard that. I'm just putting myself, a booker's always a booker. I hate fantasy booker, but I don't feel I'm doing it fantasy booker because I've done the real thing. That's what I would do. I would make it elaborate finish, boom, boom, boom. Not put the match in the boys' hands. Certainly between Jeff Jarrett and Ric Flair, they can get a great finish. And it wouldn't surprise me if some form of that, because everything with those guys done for a reason. Everything's done. There's a reason Jerry Jarrett did that podcast. There's a reason Karen was backing up David Crockett. There's a reason Karen and Jerry Jarrett both was on that podcast. Is that the payoff? I don't think it is. So that will be just extremely, extremely interesting. So, folks,
sounds like a swerve to me.
Yeah.
I've got to finish.
This should be interesting.
Go for it.
I agree. I've thought about Charlotte and Karen getting at it. I think the son-in-law gets knocked out of the ring. I think Charlotte takes care of him. I think Jeff and Lethal are healing, and Jerry comes in, and they're beating Flair to a bloody pulp. And who comes in for the save? Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Wow. I heard he's going to be there. I don't know in what capacity, but I have heard that he's going to be at the event.
Flair
That-
wanted him in the match, but he turned down the match.
That's
so no,
right.
that Steamboat being involved too would be good. However, from a national current wrestling audience, I think Charlotte Flair would get a bigger pop for sure.
Well, I don't agree. I don't disagree with that, Randy. And I thought about that myself. But this isn't about a national audience. This is about a career of 40 years, and there's nobody that had the matches. I mean, it would be the absolute Memphis equivalent of Lawler and Dundee ending Lawler's final match. I mean, that's Steamboat and Flair are legendary in the Crockett territory.
What's amazing though is they're pulling this off in Nashville, which never got Crockett TV.
That's right. I know.
Why did they pull it off in Nashville? 2 reasons.
SummerSlam hooked on to SummerSlam.
SummerSlam
and Jeff Jarrett. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Conrad Thompson hadn't promoted wrestling. You don't think that, and they're using this as part of the angle now, as you don't think Jeff Jarrett has not, and Ric Flair too, I'm sure, has not been heavily involved in every aspect of this promotion? 100%.
Oh, I'm sure Jeff has.
Even though he didn't say that to me, I got the feeling from Conrad, just in his demeanor and what he was talking about, he is really, really enjoying this. I mean, really enjoying this. And I think, personally, I think Conrad can do anything he wants to do in the wrestling business and be successful. And I can't say that about many people at all, but I can say that about Conrad Thompson. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him promote more than one show.
You gotta love wrestling to marry into the Flair family, man. To have Ric Flair as your father-in-law.
Well, let me tell you, Conrad Thompson, I know his dad also. His dad, by the way, is still in business at the First Family Mortgage and is a great guy. And I've had several conversations with him. But let me tell you something that I've learned about Conrad Thompson. He is a master, as you are, at the financial world of things. But when it comes to the wrestling business, he may have been a mark, but now he's a smart mark who knows what sells in wrestling.
No, he has done a fantastic job, and I don't know, I'm sure he is cash flowing nicely on that ad-free business.
He made his own, he created his own subculture of professional wrestling and has mastered it. And he's a multi rich man because of it. And I'm proud of him. I'm proud to say I know him. I'm proud to say I knew him before that. But I think if anybody could, and we've heard that there's been rumblings now with, who is it, Freddie Prinze Jr. that's going to start up a wrestling company or something. If somebody wants to do a throwback wrestling company and have some of the better ideas and some of the better things that are involved in 2022 and mix it with stuff that was going on in 1984 and 1985 and put it together and make a true, I think Conrad Thompson would be the flag bearer.
Mike has said, is Jeff still working for the WWE? He's a vice president of live events for the WWE, and I think there's spots that's open up. It wouldn't surprise me. Again, I have not heard anything, but it wouldn't surprise me if Jeff ended up, because I don't see how Hunter can be the executive vice president of talent relations and being in charge of creative at the same time. I think he needs to totally concentrate there. So I think Jeff would be, because he's experienced at doing talent relations, I think he would be good in that role for sure.
Randy, I got to ask you a question, because this is and you know the answer to this. When they first brought Hunter Hearst Helmsley into the WWE, who did they pair him with? Superstar Bill Dundee.
No, wrong. WCW.
Was it WCW?
Bill Dundee's never worked with the WWE, ever.
Okay, so Hunter was paired with Dundee somewhere.
WCW.
Oh, okay.
WCW.
Atlanta.
Yeah,
okay.
Atlanta.
Okay, I gave the wrong call letter. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But you think about that, and he was a young, impressionable wrestler that was trained by, was it Killer Kowalski that trained Hunter? and then they pair him with Dundee. We all agree that Bill Dundee is one of the most creative minds in professional wrestling that has been in existence in the last 50 years. How much did he learn from Bill, and how much will he put that into effect as now the head of in the position of the head of creative with the WWE?
That's I really don't know, and you know, as you were saying, the Hunter thing with Dundee, I did not remember that. I don't know if it would have had to be in WCW because Bill was never in WWE. Adam reminds me that Bill was Sir William in WCW, and the only person that we remember him with, we don't remember him as with Triple H or Hunter
With William
Humphrey
Regal?
or William Regal. Yeah, William Regal.
I'm pretty sure at some point he was with Hunter. And I may be it may be my old age kicking in here, but I think sometimes he was at some point he was with Hunter. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Michael, that's a notion I have too.
Can somebody else that's a big follower of WCW back in the day, can somebody look that up? Adam, can you look that up? I'm not going to argue against it at all because it's a possibility.
I think there was some connection between Hunter and Dundee at some point.
Bill was there when William Regal was there, and Regal was with the Blue Bloods with Bobby Eaton. But as far as Hunter, I just don't know. I can see that would be a pair, and Davis is I only remember Dundee with Regal. So if they didn't do it, Michael, they should have done it.
Well, first of all, and I'm sort of coming full circle here, and I'll make this short. But with Vince's demise, and with Hunter and his wife taking over, I think Stephanie McMahon. I mean, this has been obvious. The player that's the person that's out on this is her brother, and I guess he's out by choice. But I haven't heard one word about him during this whole storyline. And then this gentleman that is now I guess he's the COO or whatever that they're mentioning. Was he put in because of the stock situation, or how did he enter the company?
Now the speculation, he's worked for several major companies. The speculation is he came. Nick Khan, is the picture of him is on the screen right there. A great job from Master Control in Rome, Georgia. He's seen with his co-CEO, Stephanie McMahon, but he was brought in to basically sell the company to Amazon, to an NBC Universal, a big company. And so that is probably still in the works, absolutely right there. But he got a lot of power real quick, and the speculation's always been they're going for a sell. And with these, the situation with Vince McMahon, and I certainly think Vince, knowing the end game, if it is a sale, knew that it's best. Vince will always do best for business, and he knew at this point, and obviously there's still investigations, there's still TV shows planned for this subject. There's rumors that there's more information and more demons out there. So Vince had to go out. Now, will he still call Stephanie? Will he call Hunter? I can't tell you he won't. I would be surprised if he doesn't.
It's blood. I mean,
yeah.
Now this guy, the gentleman you just had on screen, is he a wrestling guy, or is he Pat? Is he one of the financial people? What is his role here?
No, he was head of the television department of creative artists. So basically, I think
CAA.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's
And
been
he was a childhood friend growing up with Dwayne Johnson.
Okay. Interesting. Well,
we'll find out if
remains to
he's
be
the Jim
seen.
Hurd of WWE or not, I guess.
Yeah, good point. Very good point, Pat. But it's going to be interesting. I really thought though last night, and I did not watch all of Raw because the Reds were in a game with Miami and were winning, so I flipped it over to see them play. But and just that opening in that first segment with the guy, the bald headed guy. Oh gosh, I can't think of his name. He did a great promo last night uh, with the Miz and Mrs. Miz standing there. But I got to tell you, the way they came on and the way they shotgunned that show last night, I thought it was the best opening they've had in years.
Logan Paul is the celebrity going on, and I just did some research. So Nick Khan was hired by the WWE as the president of the WWE and the chief revenue officer. That was what he was initially hired for, Michael.
Gotcha. Well, and I think the question on revenue and the bottom line is, did Vince take company funds to pay off these people that he had the indiscretions with, or did he do it with private money? And Pat, if he took company funds, does that in a stock-based company equal embezzlement and is prison worthy?
I don't think this is prison worthy. I think what I know with one of the ladies is he gave her a doubling of her salary. Well, is that untoward? Probably, but the CEO has discretion to give anybody whatever salary they want. And he does have a board of directors, although, as I pointed out earlier, the McMahon, and it's very unusual in a public company. There are two classes of stock. There's A shares, which are the voting shares, and there's B shares, which most of the investors own, and they're in for a financial ride only. They have no say in the company, and that's unusual. So it's a little bit unique situation. I don't think anything he has done because of the and look for everybody on here, what 12 million is the number that's been thrown out that he's
it's up to 14.8 now.
Okay, 14.8 million. Now that's a lot of money in the Trammell household, and I assume everybody on here. But this is a company with a market cap of $6 billion, and in the scheme of things, he didn't steal it. Was he not a good steward in a lot of ways? But I don't think anybody's going to jail.
We're going to wrap up the program right now. Final words about the show today, Pat Trammell.
It's been an interesting show all the way around. We've had three very, very unique and different segments. Wolfie D and Randy, I want to talk with you offline about that. But because you basically took two unknown skinny kids and turned them into pure Memphis wrestling gold. But it was always good to have Wolfie on and see all that. And then the discussion about Vince is fascinating, and that will continue for a while. But I think, as Michael so rightly points out, the Flair's last match has turned into a wrestling event, as big as SummerSlam or anything else. And everybody's got their own opinions of Flair, but he is a legend for sure, and deserves the spotlight one last time. And I hope it goes well, and I hope it does him justice and honor.
Appreciate Pat always. Glad after missing 2 weeks in a row, we've missed Chris Ellis. Hopefully we'll have Chris back next week. Michael St. John will not be here next week, and then we're going to have a watch along with a show Michael did that we found on YouTube, and we're going to discuss a couple of things about this. Final words, Michael, and last words about SummerSlam weekend, StarCast, and Ric Flair's final match as we go full screen with Michael St. John.
Well, first of all, I think first of all, I want to thank you for allowing me on late in the show, and again, I apologize that I'm all swole up and recovering, but I think this Starcade thing, Starcast thing that I called it Starcade, but Starcast thing that has been put together is quite quite an addition to a great wrestling weekend that SummerSlam always is, because it's always like the number 2 pay-per-view in the whole year for the WWE next to WrestleMania. And I think this addendum makes it even bigger. And then bringing it back to a mothership, a true mothership of championship wrestling in the South, in Nashville, Tennessee is outstanding. So hopefully I'll get to see a lot of folks up there. Looking forward to it. And again, Randy, a great talking with you. Pat, is always a pleasure. And Godspeed to everybody. Thank you very much for allowing me to be here.
All right. Appreciate it very much, Michael. I appreciate you guys very, very much. I love this panel. So thrilled that Pat's back today. Michael is on the road, and he will not be able to be here next week, and we'll hate that. By the way, yesterday I had technical problems. My internet went out 5 minutes in. Thank goodness I had it planned where I was taking a break because I wanted to watch the first segment of Raw, and Michael or Adam did a professional job of getting us going, but we lost my connection. It was a mess, but it was certainly, that was fun yesterday, and it's good to be here today. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it, and we'll see Michael in 2 weeks. We'll see you next week, Pat, very much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being with us.
I really love this conversation, everybody, and I really like this show, and I really like talk today. And certainly in the last hour and 20 minutes, we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about Ric Flair's final match. We've talked about SummerSlam. We've talked about StarCast. We talked about the scandal with Vince McMahon. We've talked about Nick Khan, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H. We talked about everything there. But the root of this program is the name of the title of this show, and it's Talking Memphis Wrestling. And for the first hour of this show, we did exactly that, and maybe we went a little bit over an hour. Last week, we had the theme of PG-13, and we had the theme as well of the Smoky Mountain Wrestling feud. Now, there was a couple of videos that I didn't get to, that there was life after PG-13. There was life with the Cyberpunks, and there was life with Wolfie D and Power Pro Wrestling, and there's a few more videos, and we won't have Wolfie with us, but next week on the program, we will show you that video, because I think that's a very important to do and to say. I will say that I appreciate everybody's great comments, and I know that we weren't able to mention and get to a lot of you, but I appreciate each and every one of you very much. When you think about the past, and when you think about all the memories I've had since first starting watching wrestling in 1971, and then being involved as well in writing the book, Living the Dream, the Memphis Wrestling Story by Randy Hales, available at Randy Hales, MemphisWrestling.com, and on Amazon. If you like these shows, Adam has up there PayPal and all the different ways that we'd appreciate to help offset the cost of this program. And we have production costs and streaming costs and different type of costs. But the bottom line to me at this point in my life, at 60 years old, it's absolutely about the memories. I wish I had loaded, and I don't have loaded. It's about the memories of Memphis Wrestling. It's about Monday night memories. It's about all the things from my childhood that I saw, all the great stories. You know, I told Wolfie today when I talked to him earlier, or maybe we even said it on the air today, that we haven't talked and seen each other a lot in the last 25 years. A handful of times, but somebody that was close and somebody was tight and somebody that was rode down the road together night after night, 2,000 miles a week, that I did with Frank Morrell and Wolfie D and Bill Dundee and Jeff Jarrett and Eddie Moore and Gary Jarrett, and from basically the people that Billy Travis, people I traveled with the most, you get a lot of memories. And I think you have to say that Doug Gilbert and Tommy Rich, the great stuff to start PG off as main event talent. Then it evolved with the Rock and Roll and Smoky Mountain. Then we switched Rich, then Doug Babyface. It all evolved to one kind of story. And I honestly think watching everything we did, I know it was a different time. I know there wasn't the internet. I know that people weren't openly smart. We had a closed society. We had a closed business. I think it works better that way. I really do. I miss those days, but I can tell you the kind of wrestling we watch in that first hour today is my kind of wrestling. The type of wrestling we watched yesterday and we watch every Monday night on the Power Hour, my baby, my creation, Power Pro Wrestling. We do that on Monday. That's the type of pro wrestling that I love. And I don't think, and maybe this is me patting myself on the back, pat. This is me being maybe too cocky or egotistical. There's nobody doing wrestling. And I don't know if it's even possible to do wrestling like we did wrestling then. But I love those times. I didn't want you to forget about it. I did not want, after the great necessary conversation we've had the last hour, because I wanted to plug all the stuff we needed to plug with StarCast, wanted to talk about Vince McMahon, all the stuff. But this show's built on Memphis Wrestling, talking and watching Memphis Wrestling, and that's one of the proudest times that I've ever had in my life. Remember, everybody, we'll go through the slides real quick this weekend. Certainly, if you want to download the Wolfie D, let's go with the Wolfie D podcast right now. It's available where live and in color with Wolfie D, and you can get that wherever you get any of your podcasts. Certainly, I want you to check that out. And it's SummerSlam weekend, and a big part of it is StarCast and the StarCast events coming up and the StarCast card coming up. You can get it on Fight TV. It's Ric Flair's last match and the list of events. So many great things up there. And if you could switch to the event slide, and that will give me a chance to read some of the comments that I've been ignoring, as you guys can look at that event, and you can order on Fight TV, fight.tv. Also go to starcast.com. Hales, anything. Hope everybody has a blessed and safe week. And David Linville, I love it. Long live Memphis Wrestling and Randy Hales. All right, Jeremy Gibson, I appreciate it very much for enjoying the show today. Panetta liked the show today. David said for Michael to get well. And I was looking forward to some blood coming up with Brock and Roman. And so many people talked to us today. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you from Master Control, Adam Dunn, for doing this thing today. We went over time, but appreciate it. Thanks so much for Adam, for Wolfie D, the guest for the first hour. Thanks to Pat Trammell back after a couple of weeks after, and Michael St. John. Good luck in going to Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA. I will be back Monday night with Adam for the Power Hour. We'll be back next Tuesday. Put a bow, a wrap in the Wolfie D story as we have more great video. Until then, thanks a lot for watching. Got a family event coming up Fridays that I'm really looking forward to. It will be great. It's a surprise, but it's fantastic. For everybody, Randy Hales saying bye-bye, everybody. We out.
Living the Dream, Memphis Wrestling. The Randy Hales story is available now at randyhalesmemphiswrestling.com.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales, featuring Michael St. John, Pat Trammell, and special guests.